There's a perception that we live in a very prosperous area of King County, but I can tell you firsthand that there's an invisible population of people who need our help. More and more we're getting calls from families who never dreamed they would be turning to Hopelink for help. Actually, many of them have been the ones doing the helping for so long, and now the tables have turned.
You can't believe it's happening, and you're watching your savings dwindle down, and it's pretty shocking.
A lot of the people we have are working. It's not like they're all out of work. It's they're working at jobs that do not pay enough to pay their ways.
Pretty soon you just stop trying. It's like, why should I even try? I can't find a house, I can't find a job, I don't have health insurance. I'm just going to give up. And that's, I think, what happens to a lot of people when they don't have access to resources. They just quit trying.
When we think about the homeless population on the east side or in Seattle, we think of the people that are on the street asking for money, and that's not who we're talking about when we talk about the homeless. We're talking about families with young children or teenagers. We're talking about people who have lost their homes to fire. We're talking about people who have lost their jobs. They're not numbers, they're not dollars, they're real people that are experiencing hardship.
When I was 11, my family and I were homeless. The first night of that homelessness, we actually spent the night in our car. Our car only fit 5 people, and we had 6 family members. We'd just come home from getting groceries and were locked out of our apartment. It was a night I'll never forget. Behind us is the apartment complex that we were locked out of, that we'd parked our car and spent the night in. I'll never forget the look on their face. As my dad being the real provider in the family, just this, how could I let this happen, even though we'd done everything we could at the time. I don't think you could tell just by looking at us that we were homeless. We still tried to keep our normal routine, still went to school. Besides my friend at school, I don't think any of the other kids knew. Hopelink's helped affected my family by giving us hope. We utilized the food banks, any of the assistance. We definitely utilized them for the shelters, and they helped get us into a shelter right away.
We don't have enough housing. That is the reality. And we need more housing, and that is what it takes to help families. If you don't have your housing, you can't get the rest of the pieces in line. So you can't work on those bigger issues if you don't have housing.
During the year of 2010, we turned away approximately 84 eligible families per month. And now in 2011, we're turning away approximately 127 eligible families each month.
I don't always get to see what happens for my families, but on those rare opportunities when I'm at the gas station and a client comes up to me and says they've gotten their GED or they finished their college and they're making better choices for themselves, that feels really good.
There's definitely more demand for need of services for GED students. When our students job hunt and look down that Craigslist ad, and at the bottom it says GED required, high school diploma required, it's a stopping point. And with the market the way it is, the jobs that they can get don't pay enough to sustain their living.
It was really discouraging, really heartbreaking. It makes you just not want to try, because it makes you feel like if this is all you can find and all everybody wants is a high school diploma, it makes you feel like, well, what else can I do? I had no money. I really needed to pay my bills. I couldn't really provide for me or my girlfriend to do even the smallest things like go to the park and have a sandwich. And it hurt. So I enrolled in the GED program at Hopelink and went from there.
I know that I've made a difference when I get the phone call and it's the screaming at the other end. I did it! I got my GED. Or when I'm in the classroom and a student comes back to visit and share how excited they are about enrolling in culinary arts or enrolling into the computer specialist program. It's just so thrilling.
Monday I'm starting culinary school. I'm elated. Without my GED, I wouldn't even be accepted into this program. I'm not going to be the guy on the side of the road twirling the sign advertising mattresses or dressed as a giant slice of pizza advertising pizza. I'm going to be a chef, and being a chef rocks.
A lot of our families are experiencing medical debt. That's, I think, one of the biggest things that it just keeps adding up, and paying down that debt is incredibly hard, especially when you're choosing. They always choose to pay their rent first, and so you have to choose that over your paying your medical debt and feeding your family over paying those bills. How can you choose to pay your bills when your children are hungry?
I was in the middle of starting my own business, and about 9 months into it, me and a few other people, and talk about pressure. I was under a lot of pressure, and that's probably why I had a stroke. I came to Hopelink for food. I didn't have a job. I was living off disability. I was thankful. I mean, the service was available. I don't know what I would have done if they hadn't had the service available.
What makes my job difficult is just the availability of resources. You notice that they're dwindling and there's not enough out there to meet the need, so that makes it really hard.
Over the past year, at least here in Shoreline, we've been noticing a large influx of people. Also, our budget was cut for produce, and we've been able to supplement that by different churches and individuals' gardens.
Our produce will be very limited after the garden season is over. We've already seen the start of that. Even a family of 4 might only have a choice of 1 piece of fruit.
What it really takes to help families in need is the community coming together. When all the pieces fall into place, that's when we see families meeting with success and we see a decline in homelessness. But it takes everyone. It takes all of us coming together, committed to change.
My service to Hopelink is important to me because, according to the homeless count on the east side last night, there were 181 people who slept out in their cars, slept out in parks and in bus stops, just like I did when I was a kid. And I want to be part of the solution.
I've been a volunteer for 6 months at Hopelink, and basically, I help people who need food get food. On any given day, there are over 1,000 people that come to a Hopelink food bank.
Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something.
It takes volunteers.
It takes a caring tutor.
It takes a bed, a safe place to sleep at night.
It takes a helping hand.
It takes a willingness to make a difference.
It takes compassion.
It takes safe transportation to get to work.
To school.
To a doctor's appointment.
To get home.
It takes community support.
It takes caring.
It took Hopelink.